Do you know what, FP, yeah? Sticking on this point about like the idea of scale, yeah?
Yeah.
I feel like the beauty of streetwear in particular is that whilst you're smaller, you can experiment more. Do you know, like, it's like things just seem more pure and seem more fun.
Yeah.
So I feel like naturally, as brands start to scale and they become bigger businesses,
100%.
not to say it's easier for them to become boring, but I can understand brands becoming boring the bigger they get, because it's like you're just trying to meet a need. You're just a big business now. Do you know what I'm saying?
You're trying to hit targets.
Yeah, you're trying to hit targets. Like you
People
get
need
it.
to get
Like
paid and that. Yeah.
sometimes you have to employ HR departments and whatnot,
Yeah.
and things become too formal.
Yeah,
How does a brand like FullyPaid strike the balance between remaining who you are, but like building the business side internally?
It's not easy, but it's something that has to be done in it, because I mean, we've been in the game for like, I think 5 years now, so obviously,
And you've grown a lot in 5 years,
so
bro.
it's this business now, innit? So I mean, we try and keep the balance as much as possible, but at the end of the day, I always have at the back of my mind, it's business at the end of the day. So business is business, so I have to treat this as a business, not a youth club and stuff like that. So yeah, more so, I also have the business side to it. So it's not easy, but you have to get the balance right. Yeah. So when it's time to be business, you have to be business. At the end of the day, business have targets to hit in it. I don't know, every business is different, so we got targets to hit every month. We have to hit them targets. This is what we're gonna do to go about it, so that when, you know what I mean, sometimes we have to get nitty and gritty in it, and as simple as that, in it. Otherwise, if you're not gonna take business, if you're not gonna take business seriously, and you know, I mean, you won't have a business no more. So we got to know when to switch it on and off. Like, yeah.
And speaking of business, what would you say the main thing you've learned about, in terms of like the business side of fashion is?
I mean, the business side of fashion, having the right amount of stock is key. Knowing how much you're gonna do in revenue, or like that's also key as well. Knowing your target audience and stuff like that. Knowing how much you're expected to make off products, and also being a good judge of character, being a bit, you know what I'm saying? Making sure that you plan ahead. Planning ahead in business is vital still, I'll be honest with you. I can't stress this enough. Like, planning ahead is key. Like, if you don't plan ahead in the business world, you're in trouble. You know what I'm saying? So everything actually has to be on point. So like I'm saying, from shoots to sorting out customers, orders, fulfillment, like everything has to be in order. Otherwise, like, yeah, you're gonna fall short. Yeah, so
has there been situations where you guys have lost money, or?
Yeah, of course. There's been many times we've lost money. Many times we've lost money by like trusting the wrong manufacturer. I think we lost money before back in the day in Pakistan, about 7-8 grand. But I learned from that, because at the time, you know, the manufacturer did a runner. That was one manufacturer was using the runner of the clothes. But then it taught me that contracts need to be in place, and terms and conditions need to be in place in terms of items and stuff like that. So we have certain things in place with our manufacturer now, so we're not gonna that can't happen again. This is just not gonna happen again. So things like that, like signing contracts, like quality control and stuff like that. So no one ain't gonna, we're not that. I learned from that there that, okay, cool, contracts are a vital thing, or paperwork's actually a vital thing, agreements in place are a vital thing in fashion, otherwise that can occur. So I learned that the hard way. I was young, naive, etc. Thought that business, I'm paying you, I'm gonna get a service, but not knowing that, in the business world out there, it can get doggy. So that's what I learned anyway, that making sure things in business make sense. Like,
You know, FP, yeah? Like, one thing I'm thinking about is, because obviously I know you and haven't known you a long time, but we've gotten to know each other quite well. And even as I'm talking to you, I can even the way you speak about setback, I can deep how like resilient you are. It's like you kind of got that mentality where you just charge everything to the game. Like, this is just it, on to the next one.
100%.
Like, but when you start to manage a team, a group of people, you're paying people are relying on you, when setbacks kind of happen, do you internalize it emotionally the same way you did back then, when it was just you and your business partner, in comparison to now? If you get the point, like, how do you manage setbacks now in comparison to before?
Setbacks now, like, I can't dwell in it for more than 24 hours, because business, it has to move on. So it's almost like, cool, it's like, alright, cool, it's happened now. What's the next plan? What do we do? How do we change it and stuff like that? Whereas before it's like, damn, like I'm upset, stuff. But stuff like that can't happen now where the business is now. So it's almost like, cool, setback, cool, 24 hours. What's the next plan? How do we change this and how do we stop this? Or what do we do? You know what I'm saying? So that's where it is. If you take a setback now, it is where it is, like 24 hours to kind of figure it out. Or within that week, things need to be figured out. So yeah, you just have to take it as numb as possible. That's what it's done to me personally, business world. So I've turned numb sometimes. I'll be like, yeah, cool, that's all right. But like, cool, what's the next plan? What do we do? How do we change this? How do we do X, Y, Z? So it's more like you have to find a solution. Like if you take a lot hit and loss, sit down, drawing board, find out what can be done, how this can be stopped, and that's how it is. Yeah.
And does that impact you as a person, like outside of like the fashion world?
Yeah, I try my best not to make the fashion world affect my personal life, but sometimes it could be, because I could go back home and I could just be like pissed, pissed, and it's nobody's fault, but something I'm working on anyway. So going forward, I'm not gonna let my business life affect my personal life and stuff like that, because obviously it's like taking it to heart too much. So that's something I'm gonna work on. So leave business as business, home as home, and split the two. You know,
it's difficult to separate, but it has to be, man.
Has to be, man.
Has to be.
Yeah.
You know, FP. Rash, how long have you spoken for?
57 minutes.
Shit.
Fucking hell.
Yeah, fucking hell. That's what I'm saying. That's the issue, bro. And I was saying this remember if we was talking there, it's like, bro, there's so much you and I can talk about, 100%. Bro. But what I've liked is that with certain things, you've told me enough. Yeah. Because the way I ask questions, we could have gone into depth, even about the Ashley Waters. You know, we could be speaking about that for 20 minutes. You know what I'm saying? Like the ins and outs. But thank you for watching another episode of Where's My Podcast. If you ever want to take in future episodes on the go, you can find us on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. Whilst you're there, please leave us a 5-star review. It would really help. And also, don't forget to follow us on our Instagram, WMTV_LDN, to keep up to date with the latest goings on in UK fashion. Keep it locked.